We are live. How's everybody? Whoops. Didn't mean to have that up yet. We are live. How's everybody doing? My name is Alan Roberts. Some people call me that angry bald man. Some people call me, well, all sorts of shit. Call me whatever you want. Just understand that I don't care. Like understand that I just want you to hear, whether you like me or dislike me, whether you can't stand me or you think I'm the best thing since sliced bread. I just appreciate you showing up and taking it in. I find it amazing, and it's been weird lately. I wanted to talk about this real quick, but before we get going, before we talk about this fucking wildebeest, but I find it amazing, like watching, like reading the comments by some other people, like on some of the people's videos that are either about me or whatever, blah blah blah. That I can't stand listening to him because of his politics. I can't stand listening to him because of his COVID stance. I can't stand listening to this. I can't stand listening to that. Where am I wrong? Like if you can't stand listening to me, any of you at any given time can enter into the comments section, and I've shown that I am not afraid to have a lively debate with anybody. I oftentimes even invite people on. So if you feel for some reason that you just can't stand me for one of my stances that I literally present to you on a daily basis that are scientifically backed, if you disagree with me, I don't know what to tell you. Like the COVID thing, I understand that many people, like it was like a cult. Like people really fucking bought into that shit so much. And I understand it upsets people, but I will say that I would like for you to purchase my book. It's about it was never about your health, the COVID pandemic, right here. Please do check that out and read it. And then when you want to debate me on what you've read, please understand you're not going to be able to, right? It was never about your health. Like we should have never, like I'm going to go over this at a later date. I'm going to do a whole video about how it was never about your health. Buy my book, The COVID Pandemic, probably sometime today, because I got to be real. It just wasn't. And people can dislike it all you want. For those of you that I've read comments from people that say, like, I like his health and fitness stuff, but he doesn't know what he's talking about when it comes to COVID. How would I know about health and fitness and not understand this? Like, it's so strange to me, like so very weird how many of you got so caught up in this like cult of thinking that a cold was going to kill everybody. It's very strange. Like, you got to look back on yourself and be like, wow, I was irrational. But this is right here. People attack your personality because what you are saying is true and they can't admit it to themselves. Exactly. And then this is the first time I've ever caught Alan's live. Do you have any nutritional advice for endurance athletes? Yes, I will likely have some advice for you here at the end, but I do Q&A at the end of these things, not in the middle. So, because we're going to get onto this right now, we are going to take a look at Anna O'Brien, also known as Glitter and Lasers. We're going to take a look at her last 4 videos, including one that was just published just a couple minutes ago. And then I'm going to read basically an article I wrote to address it, because that's what I do nowadays, is I just write articles to address the shit that I don't agree with. But here we go. This is her from her.
Weak is a word that
medical
is often used to describe.
So this is Anna O'Brien, 500-pound woman who literally videos herself eating like shit, which we're going to go over in just a couple minutes, giving life advice.
Weak is a word that is often used to describe women when they talk about illness, because...
Well, that's because you're weak. Like you, Anna, and this other lady, you're both weak. Like, say no to yourself. Adult. Don't eat all the shit. It's wild to me that Anna, I don't know about this one because I don't give a fuck, but it's wild to me that people like Anna are like, I am fat. I'm in a bigger body because of no fault of my own. It's nothing I did. Remember, I actually have a picture of her doing this. Cry. But you eat like shit, right? Like, this woman has like always talks about her autoimmune disorders and her inflammatory disorders and all that shit, her inflammation, her autoimmune diseases, and blah 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 blah. Anna, like, and I'm trying to bridge the gap here. Okay, I really am. I'm trying to bridge the gap, right? But you're delusional. I would love to help this woman. Like that's what I don't think people understand. I would love to help this woman. Like I am offering to her and just about any of the other women that I have talked about, live on my videos, that if I have used your picture in a fucking thumbnail, I will coach you for free for 6 months and sign a non-disclosure agreement that states I won't ever bring it up. I don't even want the fucking credit for it. I don't even want the credit for it. I want to help you so then you can help your audience. That is what I would like to do. I don't need the fucking credit. I don't need the ego stroke. I don't need the ego stroke from you. I absolutely do not. I want to help you. So therefore you can then go and help your audience. I will coach you. Anna, the exclusions are I've used Foodie Beauty in a video title and I will never, ever, 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 ever fucking talk to that woman. Fucking disgusting sow of a human being. Her and Amberlyn Reed, I have given my advice about. She needs inpatient therapy. Straight up. She's never going to lose weight unless she loses the ability to buy her own food and be in control of her own food. Like she needs to lose hundreds of pounds while her intake is controlled by other people, and then hopefully build a sustainable lifestyle from that. But she's never going to build a sustainable lifestyle for herself ever. So those two I would not coach. However, Anna O'Brien, Lizzo, Tess Holliday, any of these people, you don't need to like me, but I've been right about everything about you. Lizzo, we're about to talk about on this next video. Lizzo, I called that she was going to lose weight. I called all this shit. I called all of this shit. All of it. All of it. And I'd still help her because she's still fat. But I would still help her and for free. And she would never need to mention it. You don't even need to unblock me. Like that's the thing. Tess, Anna, and Lizzo, they all have me personally blocked. Like they're from their accounts, they blocked my accounts. And I definitely know that Tess knows who I am because she literally has sent DMs to people that they've sent to me about me, which is fucking wild. But I'd help all of them. You don't even need to unblock me. For fuck's sake, I don't even need to be your coach. My wife can be your coach. She's my coach. Like literally, she is the reason why I'm 4 years, 2 months, 2 weeks, 14 days, no binge. 4 years, 2 months, and 2 weeks, no binges. My wife is the reason for that. 100%. So, okay. So that is what I have to say about it. But let's listen to what they have to say.
The idea is not that they're sick, but that they're weak.
Right.
And that they can't take it.
Oh, it sucked. Because you would think, okay, if I start this medication, maybe I'll feel better. And then it doesn't work. And then you go back and they're like, well, try.
That's because it's the food and your lifestyle.
Let's try another 6 weeks. Then you go back and it hasn't worked. And then at that point, you're just mad. The pain levels were just increasing and increasing and increasing and increasing.
That's because of your food and how you eat and your lifestyle.
And I just kept getting told it's in your head.
Well,
the hardest part about this, I think, is that, especially in America, and again, this may not be true for other countries, but
stop. So the thing is, it's not just in your head. It's what's in your hand that's going in your mouth. It's not what's in your head. It's what's in your hand going in your mouth. Straight up. It's not in anything else. Like hearing them talk about this, like, well, they tell me to go on this medication and then it doesn't work. First of all, that's because most disorders that are lifestyle driven, doctors are not qualified to be treating. I've said this millions of times, but if doctors go through no or 1 week of nutrition training in medical school unless they have sought out other education. They are not qualified to treat metabolic disorder because metabolic disorder is a lifestyle-driven disorder. All metabolic disease is from lifestyle, almost. It's in the 95 percentile range. Like 95% of all type 2 diabetes is avoidable, mitigatable, or reversible by lifestyle change. Cardiovascular disease completely, almost all the time, avoidable by lifestyle change, like 80 to 90% of the time, unless there's some sort of very serious genetic factor, normally a birth defect. Cancers. I mean, cancers, you increase the risk of having cancer many fold over. It's kind of crazy.
We're given this whole like fake it till you make it, push through. I mean, Taylor Swift wrote a whole song, I Can Do It With a Broken Heart, right?
Right.
That when we're in.
Oh, well, I mean, if Taylor Swift wrote a song about it, how can science refute Taylor Swift? This person's actually giving advice to people. Jesus Christ.
Pain or we're in hurt to just push through. And when you get to a point that you can't push through, you don't look at that and say, wow, the circumstances I'm operating under are not okay for me to push through. That in turn.
What are you talking about? Like, I wish she would be able to elaborate what she's talking about. What do you need to push through? Because relatively speaking, the only thing you need to push through is not eating like shit, which you eat like shit. You video yourself eating like shit. Like, this is wild to me, right? Like, she's acting like, when you reach a point where it's just unmanageable, you did that shit. I mean, you did it to yourself. Why can't we be realistic in society? You did this shit to yourself. It's very fucking bad. It's so off-putting to me that people don't see this.
Gets flipped around and put on yourself. I'm the problem that I can't push through.
And there's nothing to put you in a worse mood than pain.
You are the problem. You should push through not eating this shit. And Anna can say that, Anna can try to pretend she's not the problem, but we're about to show that she's the fucking problem. Anna O'Brien lists off a bunch of autoimmune disorders, a bunch of all sorts of bullshit, a bunch of, she talks about having autoimmune disorders. She talks about having inflammatory problems. This woman has talked about her inflammation so many times. It's wild. Well, as a newsflash. 1, 2, 3, go. Oops. 1, 2, 3, go. I can't have the sound playing here. Oh, wait. So let's go back real quick. Let's go back. Oh, Starbucks sugary drink. Hot dog. Incredibly water. Oh, chips. And ice cream. So that's pretty wild. Oh, yeah. And then there's the sponsorship with fucking Starbucks. By the way, that is a very seriously strong closet rod because her clothes weigh more than the average clothes. Here we go. Chai style latte. Yeah, exactly what you should be having. Exactly what you should be having. It's fucking wild to me. Yeah, you look ugly still. You're fat. You're 500 pounds and abuse yourself. So concerned about her appearance, except the fact that she's double-sided refrigerator big. It's wild. Wow. Going to Starbucks. Yep. Yep. Drink the inflammation. Yep. She loves it. Drink the inflammation. So fucking disgusting. I'm sorry. That's fucked up. All right. For Anna or anybody that thinks for any reason that it is not your fault when you have inflammatory disorders and anything like that, let's go over the article that I published this morning based off of Anna. Ultra-processed foods, flaming wreck for chronic illness. Reality exists. Ultra-processed foods are not just a minor inconvenience or a guilty pleasure. They're a full-on assault on your body, especially if you're already wrestling with a chronic illness rooted in lifestyle choices. Think diabetes, heart disease, obesity, or autoimmune conditions. This science is clear, the data is overwhelming, and the stakes are too high to ignore. These lab-concocted edibles aren't just unhealthy, they're inflammatory grenades, and anyone with a chronic condition needs to ditch them entirely, no exceptions, no half measures. Now, the only reason why I say no exceptions for somebody like Anna is because she's shown very clearly, and this doesn't equate for everybody. Like, I do suggest, and I wanted to caveat this, no more than 5 to 10% of your total caloric intake should come from ultra-processed foods. None. But also, you should never have more than one serving of ultra-processed foods in a given day. Because I know a lot of people can be like, well, this is ultra-processed, but it only has 3 calories. Like, yeah, one serving of it. Like, as a newsflash, this is my serving of ultra-processed stuff today. It's 0 calories. What is it? It's 10 calories. This is my one dose of ultra-processed stuff today. One dose. I'm not even having protein powder or a true form bar or anything like that today. This is my one thing. On other days, I don't have that. I'll have a clean form nutrition bar because they're 20 grams of protein, 12 grams of fiber, no seed oils, no nothing. You can actually give them down here, use the code Allen. But that is my once a day treat, normally at the end of the day, because I don't want anything more. They're about 200 calories. It's about 10% of my total caloric intake. I keep that to 5 to 10%. But if you are 500 pounds, you should just accept the fact that that food is killing you and it's an addiction thing and you should not fucking get it. If you have eaten yourself to chronic illness, if you have lifestyled yourself to chronic illness, ultra-processed foods should become a memory. If you do not have a chronic illness, ultra-processed foods, 5-10% maximum of your total daily caloric intake and just one serving a day at max. But if you have eaten yourself to a chronic lifestyle condition, you should never eat ultra-processed foods, ever. They're not healthy. They are foods eaten only for pleasure. That's how you should view them. And if you are taking medication for diabetes, if you are taking medication for your heart, if you are taking beta blockers, if you're taking anything like that, if you are taking medication because your knees hurt because you're 500 pounds, you should not be eating ultra-processed foods because they are highly inflammatory. That's just common goddamn sense, right? So let's continue. First, let's define the enemy ultra-processed foods. Think sugary cereals, packaged snacks, sodas, frozen dinners, and anything with a laundry list of unpronounceable ingredients are engineered for shelf life and addiction, not nutrition. So, in other words, about 90% of what Anna eats. They're loaded with refined sugars, trans fats, artificial additives, and sodium, stripped of fiber, and designed to keep you from coming back for more. The NOVA classification system, widely used for nutrition science, tags these as group 4 foods, distinct from minimally processed options like fruits or whole grains. This isn't speculation. It's a framework ground in research, and it's where we start dismantling the case for ever letting these products near your plate. Again, if you have ultra-processed problems, you should be having ultra-processed foods. Now we are at the nightmare for chronic illness. Inflammation is the linchpin. Chronic diseases like type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, rheumatoid arthritis aren't random. They're fueled by persistent low-grade inflammation, a fire that smolders in your tissues, wreaking havoc over time. Ultra-processed foods don't just stoke the fire, they douse it with gasoline. A 2019 study in the BMJ tracked over 100,000 adults and found a 10% increase in ultra-processed food consumption correlated with 8% higher risk in all-cause mortality, largely tied to inflammatory pathways. This is not a coincidence. It is actual chemistry. Let's break it down. These foods spike sugar faster than a roller coaster drop, thanks to their refined carbs and sugars. This triggers insulin, which over time cranks up pro-inflammatory cytokines molecules, including interleukin-6, terminal crucis factor alpha, that signal your immune system to go haywire. A 2020 review in Nutrients nailed this, shows how diets heavy in ultra-processed junk directly amplify systemic inflammation, worsening insulin resistance and fat accumulation, core drivers of diabetes and obesity. For someone already fighting these conditions, every bite is like handing your disease a megaphone. Then there's the gut. Your microbiome, trillions of bacteria keep you balanced, getting torched by ultra-processed diets. Fiber-starved and flooded with emulsifiers like polysorbate 80 and carbomonoxide cellulose, can't even pronounce that, commonly in processed junk food. Your gut lining weakens, letting toxins slip into your bloodstream. This leaky gut phenomena, documented in Frontiers of Immunology 2021, ramps up inflammation even further, a disaster for autoimmune sufferers with people like lupus or Crohn's disease. This evidence isn't fluffy. It's microbial, measured and damning. Don't even get me started about the fats. Trans fats and omega-6 heavy oils in ultra-processed foods, think margarine, fried snacks, or cheap baked goods, skew your fatty acid balance, pushing your body into an inflammatory tailspin. A 2018 meta-analysis in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition linked high omega-6 intake with elevated C-reactive protein, a blood marker for inflammation tied to heart disease and arthritis flare-ups. Compare that to whole foods like fish or nuts, which deliver anti-inflammatory omega-3s. The contrast is stark, and the choices should be obvious. Additives seal the deal. Artificial sweeteners, preservatives, and flavor enhancers, staples of ultra-processed garbage, aren't neutral passengers. Aspartame and MSG, for instance, have been shown in studies like one from Food Chemistry 2017 to trigger oxidative stress and inflammation in cells. For someone of hypertension or chronic fatigue syndrome, this isn't a minor irritation. It's a direct hit to the already fragile system. The body doesn't shrug this off. It fights and loses. Now, some of you might try to argue everything in moderation. That's a flimsy cop-out when you're dealing with a chronic illness. Your body isn't a negotiating table. It's a battlefield. A 2022 study in circulation tied ultra-processed food intake to 29% higher risk of cardiovascular events in people with existing heart conditions. Moderation. So if you already have a heart condition and you're eating ultra-processed foods, what are you fucking doing? Moderation doesn't save them. Elimination might. Another trial in Cell Metabolism 2019 had healthy adults eating ultra-processed food diets for 2 weeks. Their weight climbed and inflammation compared with whole food control groups. If that's the damage in healthy people, imagine the carnage in somebody with a chronic illness or chronic condition. The lifestyle angle matters too. Chronic illness like obesity or fatty liver disease aren't just bad luck. They're forged by years of dietary choices, and ultra-processed foods are the hammer on the nails. Reversing them demands radical action, not timid tweaks. A 2023 paper in The Lancet showed that cutting ultra-processed food slashes inflammation and improves glycemic control in pre-diabetic patients within months. Why? Because you're starving the fire, not feeding it. For anyone serious about reclaiming their health, this isn't an option. It should be considered mandatory, and we are talking about the elimination of ultra-processed foods for people that have chronic illnesses. Skeptics might cry convenience or cost. Sure, ultra-processed foods are cheap and easy, but so is a speeding ticket. You pay later, and it's steep. Speeding tickets sometimes are not that cheap. Whole Foods. I just thought about that when I wrote that. Then I thought about it like, hey, what the fuck? Whole foods, vegetables, legumes, lean meats can be afforded and simple with minimal planning. Minimal planning. It's a marathon of discipline. The science doesn't bend for excuses, and neither should you. Let's be blunt. If you have a lifestyle-driven chronic illness, ultra-processed foods aren't a treat. They're poison. The inflammation they ignite isn't a side effect. It's the main event, and it's wrecking you from the inside out. Diabetes, heart disease, arthritis, you name it. Every study, every trial, every blood test screams the same truth. These foods amplify your suffering. Ditch them, not tomorrow, not next week, now. Your body's begging for it, and evidence demands it. So I just wanted to go over that because I know all of Anna's fans are going to be like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. But I literally just showed 2 videos of her eating ultra-processed foods. Somebody put into the chat that Shakara Transformations estimated her outing at the ball field being 3,000 calories in ultra-processed foods. That's insane. Insane. Oh, and this is true. Yeah. Anyone defending eating ultra-processed foods is a liar. They should, ultra-processed food should be seen as being eaten for pleasure only, and they should be seen as not good for you. Sugar should be viewed with the same care as alcohol, very frankly. I mean, it absolutely should. Processed sugar should be the same as alcohol. That's absolutely, it was 4,000. God damn, that's crazy. That's insane. That's nuts. But I thought it was over 4,000, maybe over 4,000. Maybe I haven't watched the video. I just saw it in the chat. But, you know, if you are one of these people where you have a chronic illness and the ultra processed foods is calling to you, if it's making it so you have a hard time saying no, I mean, what is this? Dr. Armin does not allow patients to eat that garbage. She's violating his recommendations. That's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Oh, that's pretty, yeah. And remember, according to her, we have no idea what she's eating unless she videotapes it. Then she videotapes herself eating like shit. But if you are a person out there that has a problem with ultra-processed foods, or you're a sugar addict, or you have weight cycled the same 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 plus pounds multiple times, we can help you build a healthy, sustainable lifestyle that is either devoid of or has very minimal ultra-processed foods. We coach the hunger management method, which is a method my wife figured out for me. Again, 4 years, 2 months, 2 weeks, no binges because of her. We coach this for people, to basically either remove ultra-processed foods or keep ultra-processed foods down to 5 to 10% of your total daily caloric intake with only one serving of it. Help people break away from the addiction they have to these foods. So if you have had any of these problems, please do check out the About Your Health monthly coaching flash sale, $79.99. We reduced the price down to help as many people as humanly possible. So if you have ever thought, like, I'd like to get their coaching, but it's just slightly out of price, this is the lowest price we can offer for month to month. You can still get 3 months, 6 months, and stuff like that. Hang on, I'll give you those. If you want to get a cheaper deal for 3 months, 6 months, and those sorts of things, here is the Make America Healthy Again. 3 months, I believe, is $249.99. 6 months is I believe, $399, and 1 year is $499. So that is the best deal we can possibly offer for anybody, just so everybody knows. And I really, really, really would like to work with as many people as possible. We are rededicated to trying to help as many people as we can get healthy, because I have a sneaking suspicion that the Make America Healthy Again movement is going to be roadblocked at every possible opportunity. So we have to do what I suggest we do anyway, and we need to change our culture, not necessarily change the laws, because our culture is the actual problem. So please do hit me up. And by the way, you can buy my book, It Was Never About Your Health, the COVID Pandemic, also there. That gives you our app for 3 months. You can sign up. You can, you can sign up for our Spring Fitness Challenge. You get to track your macros, track your nutrition, right on our app, hundreds of suggested sample recipes. You can have a program. We'll put a program right on the app for you. And the challenge is like a daily checklist of just positive things, So please do check that out. It's $14.99 for 3 months of the app, plus the book, which is 380 pages with almost 200 scientific and academic sources stating my case of why it was never about your health, the COVID pandemic. Please do check that out. Even if you disagree with me about it, you can get the book and then still get this spring challenge literally for $14.99 for 3 months. Please do check that out. I hope to talk to all of you soon. We are about to go talk about Lizzo. I'm going to do these two things real quick. I Googled Dr. Armin diet. He recommends keto for lipedema to stop it from getting worse. Anna is doing the opposite, of course. And Total Turtles also says Dr. Armin mentions briefly that certain foods like gluten and sugars can exacerbate the fibrotic process by promoting inflammation. Oop. Phone broke Friday. No access to email. Should be fixed by tomorrow night. Probably will miss appointment tomorrow. No other way to contact. Not a problem. And I will make sure once you're back on, I will make sure you have another way to contact too. Okay. Thank you, Jasmine. I have the same conditions Anna does, but I have taken control of my life down 230 fucking pounds on Friday. And I was taken off my heart medicine. The doctor said working out and doing right made it heart strong. This is the shit. This is who all of Anna's followers should be following right here. This person, Yodi. Everybody congratulate Yodi. That is an amazing goddamn thing. No shit. Fucking 230 pounds lost is fucking in goddamn incredible. That is so fucking awesome. I have goosebumps. No shit. I have goosebumps. That's so fucking awesome. For real. Fucking God damn, that is a fucking feat right there. So Yodi, thank you very much. Everybody join me on my next live. We're going to be talking about Lizzo, and we're going to go from there. God damn.
The Holy Trinity Bundle isn't just about weight loss, it's about empowering you to find your healthiest, happiest self. Let's talk about what's in the bundle and how it caters specifically to our needs. First, we got Ember, which is not just any fat burner. It's also going to boost your mood, your energy levels, while also suppressing your appetite. And if you're worried about it being too strong, you can split the tablet in half to tailor its impact. Next, we have Alchemy NCT, which turns the carbs that you eat into energy and not fat. Yes, energy, not fat. This is our way of making sure that the meals that you eat contribute positively to your weight loss journey. And girls, we all know that we want that. And finally, no morbidity. This one's my favorite because it works while you sleep. It burns fat and controls those nighttime cravings without any stimulants, so you wake up feeling refreshed. Try it out and feel the genuine difference. Here's to new beginnings and real results.